Hey, welcome back. So we were just talking baseball with Donovan, and I figured while I'm here, might as well grab a pint, right? Because you might have heard there's been a lot of concern about the price of alcohol.
Jamie Quincy is printing new labels for every single item in his liquor store in North Vancouver.
It seems everyone's talking about it. There are ads on social media talking about how the price of booze is going up and the backlash from the industry.
Good day, I'm Bob McKenzie. This is my brother Doug.
How's it going, eh?
Okay, so we did a scientific taste test, and beer does not go down as smoothly with another tax hike.
It really became a big thing. The official opposition in Ottawa was up in arms.
This is squeezing family budgets and making workers in the brewery sector nervous about their jobs. They're calling on the Prime Minister to cancel his planned tax increase on beer and spirits. Will he listen to these union workers and cancel the tax hike?
And the pressure may actually have worked. The government, in its latest budget, dramatically reduced the tax on alcohol. But dig a little deeper, and you'll realize that for all the bluster and outrage, this all has very little to do with how much you pay for booze, and ultimately, prices are going up no matter what. So first, let me explain what the tax actually is. So basically, the federal government has this tax that's applied to alcohol, but you and I don't pay it directly. It's charged to producers, and they pay it. What's more, the tax increases with inflation, which is, usually ideally around 2%. But as we know, inflation is crazy right now, which means even though that rate has been coming down slightly, this year's alcohol tax was going to be more than 6%, the biggest increase in decades.
We Conservatives are calling on this Liberal government to cancel its massive 6.3% tax increase on beer, wine, and spirits.
That motion calling for a cancellation of the tax increase, it passed. And last week, the government responded through the budget, saying it would temporarily cap the inflation adjustment at 2% just for the coming year. That kicked in on Saturday, and it was, ostensibly good news for everyone, including alcohol producers.
I'd say relief, because the prospect of a 6.3% beer tax hike on April 1st was really going to cause significant problems, devastating impact. So a 2% increase is gratefully accepted.
But here's the thing. There's only so much of a producer's cost that they can really viably pass on to the consumer. We were told again and again by people in the business that if the price of alcohol goes up too much, too fast, customers just might not buy it. So, even with a sky-high tax, the estimate from Beer Canada itself was that even at 6.3%, the price for us for a can of beer would have gone up less than a full cent. According to the Liquor Control Board of Ontario, a bottle of wine might have gone up 5 to 10 cents, a bottle of spirits up 70 cents, which, again, to be clear, is still an increase, but nowhere near a 6% increase. So this tax may never really have been about us. It's about producers and what they pay.
The real issue is the timing of it. A year ago, the world went upside down. Inflation skyrocketed. Bank of Canada had to roll in and raise interest rates. Hospitality sector still not recovering from the pandemic and everything around it. So we were just facing this perfect storm.
That perfect storm was made worse by the war in Ukraine. The world's breadbasket under siege. That contributed to a spike in the price of barley. And the mess with supply chains even made getting, like aluminum cans more difficult and more expensive.
Barley costs increased 60%, packaging costs 40%, transportation doubled, and beer sales volumes have been in the dumpster for a number of years now.
So yes, the 6.3% federal tax has been slashed significantly, but all those other costs haven't gone away. So tax or no tax, beer producers are still hitting us with essentially the biggest increase they think we can manage, and they're planning to raise prices in the coming year about as much as they did last year.
So what we had seen in 2022, calendar 2022, is beer prices up about 5.5% to 6%. which is a huge number for beer. It's less than food inflation, less than some other things, but for beer, that was a real hit. And what we recognized when talking to our members and other brewers was that they had not had a chance to pass on all their costs yet into the price of the product. They tried to do smaller increments, do little by little throughout the year, but they were absorbing a large proportion of their cost increases. So yes, unfortunately, given the costs that brewers are facing, we do expect beer prices to continue to increase in 2023. So what that number looks like, probably pretty similar to what we saw in 2022, 6 or 7% increase in retail beer prices on average.
So, as much as I hate to say it, even though we avoided one tax increase, it looks like increased beer prices is one thing Bob and Doug McKenzie can't save us from.
Take off the beer tax increase, eh?
Stop hosing us, you hosers.